All right, guys, so we are at the console section where we would want to do the multi-tracking, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to do the process in FL Studio, Ableton Live. Probably we can do Logic, and I don't know how to do Cubase, so we'll be out of here. Okay, so we said in a multi-tracking thing, if you want to do your drum multi-tracking or in a multi-tracking, what you need is 1, the instrument itself, 2, your recording device, okay, and then under your recording device, you have the hardware part of it and then the software part of it. So the hardware parts are if you're using the drum, which is obviously the drum microphones, your sound card or your mixer board, okay, and then we say for the drum, it has to be mic'd as a snare top, a snare bottom, a hi-hat, your toms, kick in, kick out if you like, and then overheads. So hypothetically, let's say at least 8 channels for drum multi-tracking. Okay, so that is what we want to do. Now, because in my church we are using the X32 console, which is fed by the X32 stage box, our routings are on AES50, okay, AES50, and we're using the B side of it. So what I'll do is that on the board, the idea is to transfer everything that is on the board or route everything as it is on the board on the digital audio workstation, okay? So now I'll come to routings on the board, and then I'll check if the routings are as they are supposed to be, okay? So we said at the back of the console direct is a local. If you're using any AES50, that means you're using a stage box, okay? And so that is that. So I open FL Studio, and what you also need is that you need a USB cable or a printer cable. It will be connected to the back or the port of the console where they have written USB, okay? So when I open the door, if you're using MacBook, mostly you don't need drivers. So I just connect and then I'm just flowing. That is the kind of one of the distances between a Mac and then a Windows machine. But for Windows, you might need to download the drivers off the recording device you're using, whether it's sound card, Focusrite, or the mixer board, Behringer, Allen Heath, or whatever. So whilst I've connected this to this device, I'll just go to my settings and then check if my input and output are like that. So everything is routed to the XUSB driver. Then in the console or in the DAW, I also go to its settings. Okay, I go to FL Studio, settings, audio, and then you can see right now the device output is on built-in output. So I've put it on the XUSB, and then the sample rate, mostly the sample rate is on 44.1. I have to make sure it matches as it is on, we have set on the board. So our board is in the 48. If I change this to 41, it will tell me that currently the project needs to be closed before the sample rate can be changed, okay? And you see, it's telling me that the required sample rate which is 44.1 Hz, is not supported by the core audio output because our board has been on the 48 Hz sample rate. I cannot use a different sample rate here. So we're going to have a cross interaction, which is not going to communicate between the DAW and then the recording device. So I press OK, and I'll change this back to 48. Okay, and then let's say I'll need to sometimes restart the project. Okay, so I just close this and open FL Studio back again, and then okay, so again go back to FL Studio, settings, audio, everything is intact right now. Great. Now we want to route everything that is on the board into the mixer of the console of the DAW. Okay, so in our setup, okay, here the drum is from channel 1 through to 11, okay, to 10 rather, okay, 10. So in the FL Studio, the mixer, each channel has to be routed differently for a different part of the drum, okay? So let's say insert 1 will be for kick, as it has been done like that. So let's first rename the channels. So the first one, I'll rename it as kick, and I'll save next, and we have next, which is, I don't want to go to color. So next rename is snare, And then the next is hat, which is a hi-hat. Channel 4 is channel 4 is high tom, which is the 8. But mostly I prefer to write 8 tom. Okay, so high tom, let's say 8. Let me rename and write 8 tom, so that anybody that is mixing will know that this is a size 8 tom. So 8-inch tom. And I'll do this for a 10. Mostly I do these renamings for mixing engineers that would want to do sampling or do sample replacement. And so this is 12-inch tom. And then channel 7. I didn't bring a 10. So 8, okay, kick, snare, hi-hat, 8, 10, 12, and then channel 7 is what? Okay, channel 7 is floor tom. So 16-inch floor tom, because floor tom you have 2, so sampling might. So 16-inch floor tom. And then I'll have my pad. But in this case, I will not use my E drum for anything, so I'm not going to route that thing. So I'll go back to the overheads, which is channel 9 and 10. So overhead left, and then this is overhead right. Okay, so now we have renamed this channel as such. How do we get these routing from the board signals through the door? What we're going to do is that on each channel, okay, we are going to have each insert channel being routed from the board. So when I go to select, I'll select kick, and then I'll come here with the insert section. I'll hit this, and you can see because we are using the X32 driver, we have the 32 inputs on the board. Okay, so these are in 1 and 2, these are the stereo and these are the mono. So we're going to record the mono. So we said the kick is on channel 1 on the board. So here I'll select kick, which is input 1, and it goes on just like that. This will be for 2. So you just select the channel on the board per your routings. Okay, so if let's say my kick is on channel 32 on the board, I'll come and select kick, but the input channel will be from what? Channel 32. So I just do this for the whole drum. This is 5, right? Yes, and I'll do that for 6. And I'll do that for 7. Then 7. I'll do this for 8. It will be for 8 was for my pad. Okay, so this will be for channel 9. The wires even with channel 9, and this will be for channel 10. You just watch out for some of these things. So right now I have these channels to be recorded. Somebody will ask, so then how can you listen to the stems and play along? What it needs to be done is that in every project you have to make sure the basic stuff are right from the very first as go. So the time signature and then the BPM of the song has to be intact. Regardless, you can just do that without anything. So on the board, it's aux in is supposed to be the output of the door. Okay, so right now I've placed this on aux in. Nothing is playing. Okay, so what I'll do is that you just have to drag the stem or the song you want to play. Put a track from here. So desktop, right? Or let's say Choice Friday, any of the Choice Friday files back. The drum of 2025. Let's say never again. I want to input this track. So I'll just open this track, and I can drag this track from here into the playlist of the FL Studio. Okay, so play it as an audio track, and I'll leave it there. So right now it's going to have something like this. I know it's becoming too scary on your face. Please relax. So right now we have this. Okay, so on the song mode, if I'm playing this stem, I'm not having any feed from the aux session, right? Because I haven't placed the aux on the card. So play this on card 1 and 2, and right now we have a feed. So let's say on the aux the sends that is going into the aux section, I'll come to, let's say, drum in here, and then this is the sends that is going into the drum in here. Okay, so this will be the feed that will be recorded. So everything I'm going to record it will be from here. I'm playing from the DAW. It will just pass through my in-ear mix. If I check here, my drums in here, come to aux and effects, you can see this thing is speaking. If I stop playing, I'm not having any feed in my in-ear mix. Okay, so I'll just be there and I'm recording every multi-track from the drum. Okay, so I'll just go and play something small, and then we will see whether it's recording from this place. Okay, so I'll just move. I'll just press the record button, and I'll just play something small, and we check whether it's recording or having the picks being recorded. So from here, I'm going to hit this. I'm going to hit this and make sure it's recording, and then I'll be back. The drum is not muted here. The drum is not muted. I hope the drum is not muted. I hope the drum is not muted. I hope the drum is not muted. Because I feel the drum was muted. Slow. So the drum is muted. I just have to make sure I just have to unmute the drum and then go back and record again. My phone key now. My phone key now. Ah, some of them used to yeah, baby. So you can see, I'm sure everything else was recorded on the board. I'd have to close because I can't remember going to have a rehearsal. We'll meet on the next one. Okay, keep subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let me see whether we have feeds. Yes, so we have feeds from here. So let's come and normalize these things, and you can see now we have feeds. All right. So that's how you do that in the FL Studio. Let me close this and quickly go back to the Ableton Live, and then we'll know. I will not save this. So in the same vein, okay, you go to Ableton Live, the same routings. You just have to make sure you route everything from here onto the board as such, okay, and then you'll be good to go. Hurry up, boy. Yep. Sure. Oh. Okay. Yep. All right, so in the same vein, you know, Ableton gives you 2 MIDI tracks and 2 audio tracks. Right now, I'm going to record audio tracks. So I just create more audio tracks, let's say 9. Rename everything as kick, as we did. So kick, snare, hat, high tom, which is 8, mid tom, let's say 12 tom, 16 floor tom, overhead left, overhead right. Okay, let me rechange this to 8 tom. The next will be 10, and then we have that. So I go to live settings, and then I'll go to the audio settings. Right now the input audio was on none, so I'll put it on X32, and then output as well on X32. Okay, and I'll close it. So when I hit on this, the audio input, where is the audio input coming from? Right now I can select everything and put them on in, so you can have audio recordings of that. So the external, where is the sound coming in from? You see right now we have 32 channels being routed. So I hit this for the kick, and then it goes on just like that. It will be for snare, this will be for 3, and it goes on just like that. This is for 4 rather, and 5, and this is 6, and this is 7, and this is 9 and 10, because remember the electric drum is on channel 8, so this is on channel 9 and 10. And then again, select or activate the arming button for recording, and all these things are going to be recorded. So I'll still go back and play the drum again, and then we'll see whether they are recording or not. We'll get back to that in a minute. All right, so I hope we have audios being recorded in there, and struggle is real. Yep, so you can see we have audio channels being recorded. So these will be our tracks where we can normalize each of them, have different gain stage for these things, and then you can give it to somebody for mixing and mastering. So this is how the multi-tracking thing is done. And I hope I've passed through the struggle to make sure you understand some of these things. If there are any questions to be asked, kindly leave them in the comment section, and I'll be glad to help you out. Charlie, peace out.